friends, Donovan here. I want to give you some tips and insights that I've learned over the last 15 years on how to successfully move from one rental property to the next one as seamless as possible, the least amount of surprises, and certainly the least amount of cost to you. So something that I come across far too often is they're not aware of the notice period that you have to give to your current landlord. And so I see a lot of times they've applied for a property that I have. They're very, very excited about it. I always do landlord verifications. So when I contact that current landlord, one of my questions is, have they given notice to vacate yet? And actually the biggest reason why I want to know that is if they haven't, and they still have to honor the rest of that, it may be more expense than they're prepared for, and ultimately it could affect their ability to pay rent to me when they move in. So this is for you landlords as much as it is for the renters. So getting into it, the first advice, and I will always say this, is know your lease, know what you've agreed to, and make sure you know what that is to abide by that. So I see the standard lease is a 60-day notice to vacate. So you want to know at least 60 days out and give notice, especially if you're not going to renew that lease. One thing to note on that is those notices only go into effect on the first of the month. So if you give it on the second or the third, you wasted 28 days or whatever, and it won't actually go until the first of the following month. So make sure you get your notices in prior to the end of the month, definitely before the first there. And then know exactly how and what the process is to do that, whether an email is acceptable. If they have a management portal and you have to do it through the portal, make sure you do it there correctly as well. I've seen a lot of times where a renter has given notice but not in the acceptable format there, and then it was rejected because of that. So I've seen it so often. Something I deal with a lot when I ask this question too is they haven't given notice is because they want to make sure they have a place lined up before they give notice to their current place and avoid being homeless, which I can certainly understand. So it's a challenging time there, but I also want to make sure on the other end you're not responsible for additional months rent that you hadn't budgeted for. So if you give that 60-day notice, or if it's a 30-day, again 60 is more standard, give it in the right format there, and that way when you find that house that you love, you spend the money on the application fees, you put the deposit down, you know it's yours, you can tell your family, and you don't have to go back and break bad news to them. Again, I said this for landlords as well. I hear a lot of times, well, that's not my problem. It is your problem. If they find out, they move in and find out that they're responsible for another month payment there, and that landlord is going after them, it could affect their ability to pay your rent, and this is why we're in the game, is to collect your rent. So when you're doing your landlord verifications, make sure you ask that question, and that is the reason for that. If you have any questions, anything I can do to help, reach out to us. We're here to help, and rent easy, and good luck on your next place.